Here's Alex from Blacksheep IT Consulting, and in these demonstrations we are going to install language packs. So if you recall from the previous videos, we have a Siebel development database which runs, let's get rid of this, which runs inside a podman container for Windows. It's a 23 AI free database, and this container is up and running, and my plan is after having done the new installation for Siebel database, we have installed Siebel with 2 language packs. So let's check out the Siebel installation, the Siebel Enterprise component installation on this machine, which has, for example, if we go to the Sieb server, bin like E and U. You have a large number of files. You have very big files here. The safe RR data, the safe boot repository. You have the Neo files for this language here, for E and U, of course, English, United States. Let's go to a random other one. The Chinese one is not really populated, but the German one is complete with a repository, with the safe boot repository, etc. And also the French one, as you can see here. So I've installed the French and German language pack with the binaries. Choose that at installation time. But the data required for these languages in the database is not present because you have to actually run the database configuration wizard. So let's find it. Database server configuration wizard. You have to run this various times actually. For each language you have to run it twice. So we run it now for the first language. And that's Oracle database. So we are still in install database, but this time we don't install a fresh Siebel database, but we choose the second option, add a language to an existing Siebel database. So this will take care of the language specific strings, the seed data, if you will, for the chosen language. So of course, grant user has run long ago. We have the connect string, and we have the base language. I always go with base language English American, which means E and U. That should be the base language for every Siebel installation, because then everything works smoothly. You can install Siebel without English American, but I'm kind of against the grain. So the language temp here, that's actually the language you want to install. Let's go with French, just because it's first in the list here. Standard French. And we have as a database user. Fill that in, the table owner. And the Siebel repository, of course. No parallel indexing. And then we have install lang ra. Let's use that. So that'll be the first of 2 tasks for French, and then we have to repeat that for any other language, including German. I'll do the full bit, I'll record the full bit, but there's a little bit of repetition here. So we apply this now. So this has generated the UCF, the upgrade configuration file, which the upgrade wizard will happily take on and execute the task. Of course, it's not a Siebel upgrade, but the tool is named Upgrade Wizard since it is also used in Siebel upgrades. Okay, some registry shenanigans here, and here's the Upgrade Wizard, and I just find it fascinating that it's already translated into French, which might be a bug, but that's the Assistant de mise à jour Siebel. And we have to not watch, we can watch the mesmerizing globe spinning, and you realize some point that you have to actually click OK to get things rolling. So it's now importing the seed data. You see it's also doing some MLOF stuff. Multilingual list of values is a extra step, by the way. So that is another step you have to do, potentially after all the language packs have imported. And every time you change something with multilingual list of values. So that's documented. So we can see it's kicking off the, you see it pulls the data from the French DB server language pack where it finds it, the locale data, and it duly imports that. Of course, as you can see, it's fairly slow. It's only the first table. It will probably take a little longer. So I'll pause the video recording until the process is finished or something exciting happens. Well, okay, so we have a touchdown on the first step for French. So the seed data has been imported. That's okay. And yeah, we have to exit and just run it again. And this time we run it for the import-export repository. As a side note here, many of these options have been deprecated by Oracle. For example, import repository or export repository. You shouldn't use it like that. But add language to an existing repository is actually legit. And the language to import this time is French. And we have an ODBC data source to give. Let me check. So we can use, well, either data source here as the old modern built on the latest Oracle client. This one's probably the easiest to use. And we have database username again. And the table owner as usual. And that's the repository. And that's the important part here. So this MST rep, the master repository .dat file, which is the fourth zip file you need to extract. Remember, when you do a new installation, that needs to be in place here, where you need to point to it correctly. And actually check. Let's check if it's there. It's there. It's the biggest file by all means here in this folder. Okay, so we can go and we do the imprep lang for fra. These output directories will be on the Siebel server, and they will hold all the details and log files in case something goes wrong. And it's the same game, Upgrade Wizard. The French version of the Upgrade Wizard will take care of this. So we'll see this off. And yep, seems that everything is in order since it's already importing. You see repimex is called with all the input, and should be a matter of, well, again, matter of time to finish this. It's really going, yes. Okay. And what it does now, obviously, is importing repository data. And what repository data? Of course, symbolic strings. That is the translated part of the Siebel repository. You'll get the symbolic strings for French. And if you repeat that for Chinese, you have the Chinese symbolic strings and so forth. And once you add symbolic strings, into the repository, you introduce a new language, you have to, well, compile it. And in since IP17, we no longer call it compile, even if the data is compiled. We call it full publishing. Yes, we need to do a full publish after that, but you have to do it only once, so you can import multiple languages and do a full publish then, because the full publish also takes, for each language, can take an hour or so. All right, I think, yeah, okay, now it's still doing the second pass here with the actual INTL, the internationalization tables. Is that correct? And we just pause the video until this is finished. And just like that, it has finished. So we have us a French symbolic strings package in the Siebel database, in the Siebel repository. Now comes the boring part, and you might want to skip it, as I am repeating this now for the German language pack. We do the full demo here, so you get the full demo. One, and this is the new one, so we do install a language, grunt user has been run. Okay. So I'm no longer sure I did a correct entry the first time. We'll just know in a moment, but it's also good to see that the wizard stops. There's an error message that indicates the root cause. Name this number 2. Okay. I think it was that connect string that I might have missed. We'll know in a second, as it was just not finding the database. Okay, now it finds it. Okay, so the assistant is beendet, which is complete or finished, and we can run it for one more time. That, of course, is the time where we do the import of languages to the repository. So you have seen this before, but I'm just recording everything we want. Get the complete picture, right? So okay. And we make this the DEU imprep. And we go off with our friend, the Siebel Upgrade Assistant. It's so funny that it just adopts the language, and it kind of has some early ChatGPT vibes or something. Well, I'm just babbling. Okay, let's just wait until this kicks off here. So we're in the green, and of course then we'll pause the video recording until that's done. It is off. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, see you on the other side. And well, as it happens, the final leg of the database config wizard upgrade wizard combination is finished for German and French language packs. So we now have seed data and repository data in the database. So let's check it out first. Let's launch Siebel Tools. Okay, and for example, if you, look at these symbolic strings, you can make them visible in the Object Explorer, like so. Then, for each string, we should see now not one, but 3 languages. So we have, of course, ENU, which is the default. And thanks to the wizard, now we have German and French strings. And since it's Siebel Tools, we can also check out the list of values. And we can see right there. Let's pull up the language column. So we definitely have German, ENU, and French for this LOV and, the others, obviously. So the symbolic string part needs to be compiled, but the compilation is not called compile, it's called full publish. That means the runtime repository data for all 3 languages will be rewritten into the runtime repository tables, and that you can only do through a command line. So let's quit Siebel Tools. And this is the command line you run. So you run the Siebel Tools command line practically. So you can copy that from your shortcut, add username, password, the server data source, your config file, and importantly, the languages. TL is, I don't know what the T stands for, but L is definitely a language, or tools language probably. ENU, DEU, FRA for English, German, French, and of course we do a full publish. But before we run full publish, we must run another one because our repository is not main 0, so we have done modifications and we have workspaces in it other than main, and main is not version 0. So we have to run a flatten workspace. So I'm running this in the English language. There you use L, not TL, by the way. And you have flatten workspace as the command. So it will launch in the background more or less. So there is a Siebel Tools instance that comes up and you can actually see it, but don't touch it. And it will run for a long time. And what it does, it deletes every workspace except main, except the latest main workspace. And I repeat that, it deletes every workspace, developer, integration workspace. So it's not fun to run this. You will potentially lose a lot of data when you don't coordinate this well. And then it renumbers the main workspace to 0. So you have a clean slate, you're back on main 0. And that is the requirement for full publish. Full publish only runs when you have main 0 and no other workspace. So the flattening does that, but don't let yourself be tempted by the flattening effect of deleting workspaces. Kind of, we can use this to clean up, let's say every half year, get rid of the hundreds or thousands of workspaces. You can delete workspaces in modern Siebel versions. There's even a command line utility. So, and after flattening, you actually have to run full publish, and even worse, you have to run another full migration to reset your watermarks. So incremental migration will stop working. You know, the reference to the workspace version is no longer valid. Okay, so keep that in mind. Flatten workspace. Oracle clearly says in documentation as well, only run it in one circumstance, which is the one we have. You have added a language pack, you need to full publish, and the full publish requires a flat workspace. So it's running in the background now, and I will pause the video until it completes so we can then finally run the full publish. Okay, see you around. Okay, so yes, that flattened workspace did actually run through. We can see it in the when we open Siebel Tools again and we have a main 0 workspace again. So all the other workspaces are gone. And again, this is only for language pack installation. This is only the only time you do this. And now we can actually do what is required for the language pack installation, the full publish. So I'll just close down Siebel Tools, and we can go back to our command line where we find the full publish command. And let's see that off now. So this should actually spawn into multiple Siebel Tools processes to do it in parallel, one for each language. We keep monitoring that, of course. I'll pause the video until it has spawned and come back then. And yeah, now we can clearly see that Siebel Tools is running multiple times. It's a total of 6 times. One for the original call, one for, I don't know, the main, and 4 times for each language, including the all branch for all languages, the non-language specific stuff. And that, of course, is driving the system a little bit crazy, maybe, or not. And it will take, a long time. So I'll pause the recording until the full publish is finished. Okay, so yeah, the full publish ran a really long time on this environment, so that shows the limits of the 23AI free database with its 8 gig of RAM or whatever it can use, or 2 CPUs. But it came through, which is a testament to the stability of Siebel, if you will. It's not giving up. And so I have restarted the environment just to see everything's still in order. And I've logged into the English call center. And that looks all right to me. So their strings are in place. Things are looking straight. And now, of course, the question is, do we have a German object manager? We have one already, but will it show us a German login page and German things? So I'll go to the SMC first, and I'll check on the German or French object manager. I have German and French, so German's my native language, so let's just use this. We should see the components there. So we have it set to manual mode, so it doesn't kind of start when the server starts, but we can start it up now. And we need, of course, a URL to access it. So let's go to the application interface profile that we're using for this environment. And go to the applications, and let's just clone the English call center and make it a German one. Let's hope the object manager is not up yet. Okay, so we have to wait a little bit. So yeah, waited a few more moments, and let's try it one more time. Yeah, a little bit annoying that this can only be done at runtime of the object managers here. And here it is, it's up now. So of course we changed the language to DEU. The language is just the second part or the last part of the URL, so it could convey any meaning, but Oracle decided to label it the language. And in this case, it's actually the language, so not wrong. And we have now a URL where the German object manager should come up. And well, it definitely is German here. Benutzer ID and Kennwort and Anmelden. These are old. I recognize this. And so let's see when it comes up. We should see a German call center. And yeah, that's German for sure. We have the Fuhrparkmanagement Administration and all these lovely screens and views now in your favorite language. And yeah, that is a brilliant point to end this demonstration. We have successfully installed the language packs. We have successfully flattened and full published the repository in 3 languages. Bit of a stretch, but we are here. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and see you in the next one.